Hello and welcome to this JuDocs Ceremony 2025 here in Jülich. My name is Johannes Döbbelt. I'm a freelance journalist and I'm your moderator for this ceremony for tonight. I have never written a PhD, a doctoral thesis. I can only imagine or try to imagine how much work, how much effort that takes over a really long period of time. And today, as you all know, we want to honor those young scientists here in Jülich who did that. Scientists who spent the last month and years probably with very little time off and a lot of work to do. We want to honor young scientists who recently completed their doctoral thesis here at Forschungszentrum. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to the doctoral researchers who submitted their thesis between September 24 and October 25. Here they are. Haider Adel Ali, Franka Auf der Heiden, Felix Bauer, Alicia Maria Benitez Britos, Bart Borkans, Jim Buffett, Shu Yin Chen, Hasna Eraji, Alan George, Dominik Hoven, Mohamed Atif Javid, Monika Teresa Maria Kessler, Boxy Lee, Meng Chu Liu, Alexandros Milousis, Rebecca Molitor, Suher Nofal, Nrutiyati, Anisha Reuban, Sebastian Rode, Karina Ruzaeva, Jelena Stefanovic, Timon Vaz, Hetal Vaishnav, Naima Jakub, Hao Yin, Mahmoud Zeer, Yufan Zhang and Xinwei Zhu. Thank you all for being here tonight. And now I'd like to welcome two people here on stage who will give us kind of an official introduction to this ceremony. Professor Astrid Lambrecht, the chair of the board of the Forschungszentrum, and Professor Hans-Georg Steinrück, head of JuDocs, the Jülich Center for Doctoral Researchers and Supervisors. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to welcome you all to this very special ceremony. To our esteemed faculty, supervisors, colleagues, distinguished guests, proud friends and families, and first and foremost, of course, to our graduates, a very warm welcome and thank you for sharing this occasion with us. It is truly a privilege and a joy to stand before you today and share this moment. We are here to honor your hard work, your resilience, and your scientific achievement. We congratulate you on earning your PhD. You have been working towards this goal for years, and we could not be prouder of what you have been achieved. Before we really start, I would also like to welcome our new chair of JuDocs, Hans-Georg Steinrück, who is here with me on stage. Welcome, Hans-Georg. We are delighted to have you taking on the scientific lead of JuDocs from now on. And we know you'll bring great energy and support to this doctoral community. Dear graduates, yeah, I think so. Thank you. Dear graduates, earning a PhD is no small feat. Your pursuit of knowledge and your commitment to pushing the boundaries of science and discovery have brought you to this very moment, your PhD. It represents years of study, countless hours of research, probably some late nights, maybe even many late nights, and numerous obstacles that you have overcome. But you have come out on the other side, and each of you has contributed something new to the vast body of human knowledge. That is a profound and lasting legacy. But a PhD is much more than an academic milestone. It is a deeply personal achievement, a testament to your perseverance and your passion for science. It's a journey that required not only intellectual rigor, but also emotional and mental strength. Along the way, you may have faced challenges that tested your resolve, moments when the path seemed uncertain and the goal even out of reach. And yet, you have not given up. So let us celebrate not only your contribution to science and your knowledge, but also your resilience and the dedication that have brought you here. Although your doctorate is a personal achievement, I think you might have also experienced that science itself is a team effort. This team is made of your mentors, advisors, collaborators, your fellow PhD students and colleagues, and importantly also of family members and friends. They all have been your sounding board, your cheerleaders, and your support system. Today is also a day to celebrate and thank them, as their support has been a crucial part of your success. Dear graduates, as you step into this next chapter of your career, know that a PhD is not the end, but just the beginning of your journey. As you move forward, whether into academia, industry, or new fields altogether, know that you have developed not only the skills, but also the mindset to make a difference. The challenges we face as a society and as a planet require innovative thinkers as you are, people who are not afraid to ask difficult questions and seek bold answers. Your PhD is a big moment. Live it, cherish it, and let those feelings of pride carry you through any challenges ahead. I would like to conclude with a citation by Mark Twain. 20 years from now on, you will be more disappointed by the things you did not do than by the things you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. And personally for me, do not forget to be happy. Congratulations once again to all of you. Now, before I give the floor to Hans-Georg, I'd like to come back to the team that supported you during your PhD. One of those team members certainly has been JuDocs, the Jülich Center for Doctoral Researchers and Supervisors. JuDocs is instrumental in helping our PhD students navigate the often complex processes that come along with a PhD. Therefore, I would first like to use this opportunity and thank everyone involved in JuDocs. Now, as you know, Markus Diesmann has chaired JuDocs over many years, helping you to manage the administrative complexities of a PhD and ensuring that you have the support you need inside and outside the lab or your office. His continued support, his availability, and his dedication to this task have been essential for many, many PhD students. Today, we bid farewell to Markus Diesmann as the chair of JuDocs. Markus, your actions and your commitment have left a lasting impact on this community. You have been a great driving force for JuDocs. You have designed JuDocs and have developed it together with Inga Jancik and the JuDocs Council to this great support structure that it is today. We are all deeply grateful for your outstanding contributions. And now please join me on stage to receive a huge applause . And probably you also want to address a few words to this doctoral community.
Yeah, just a few words. First of all, thank you very much, Astrid, for these very nice words. I would like to thank everybody, especially the board of directors, for the full support over all these years. It was a nice but also interesting and rewarding time, and especially I would like to thank my colleague Inga Jancik. She is here in all these years, but also Sabine Hanrath. She cannot be here unfortunately today, and also Natascha Hase and the full JuDocs team. Of course, without them we could not have achieved what we have achieved. And so JuDocs is not ready yet. yeah, and it will probably never be finished because this is such a structure that has to develop as time goes on, and there's always something to do. And in discussion with Hans-Georg, we already found out that there are already a lot of very interesting ideas. And so I think it's good to change, to have new perspectives from different fields of science. And this is what we are doing now. Therefore, I'm very happy that we found Hans-Georg to follow me. He's coming from a different research area, and also he is a few years younger than me. This may also help. And but I will still be on campus, of course, in my own institute, and will from time to time look at what JuDocs is doing. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and also welcome to this JuDocs ceremony. I would like to welcome all of you, but in particular, of course, our doctoral students, but also their supervisors. It's really my pleasure to also now say a few words after Markus and Astrid. And most of the things about the PhD and the great achievements you have done have already been mentioned by Astrid. It is really the hardest task in education to obtain your PhD, and you did it. You're also the ones who, like the generation before you, went beyond state of the art. You're also the ones who pushed the scientific boundaries. You're also the ones who gathered novel knowledge and understanding of nature and of technologies. And you are also the ones who used this understanding to work on the grand challenges in a variety of many different ways. And I think that's very cool, and that's really an awesome achievement. From my own experience, I think sometimes it's non-trivial to conceptualize how one's own work has an impact and also has contributions to the scientific community. But I can also assure you that the scientific impact you had during your PhD is really enormous. You contributed scientific understanding to the scientific community, and already today, other scientists at Forschungszentrum Jülich and also around the world is using the knowledge to push the scientific frontiers even further. And so other scientists build on what you have created during your PhD. And you did so through your interactions with other scientists, your scientific discussions, also your discussions maybe outside science that have contributed to that, finding friends. You went to conferences, presented your work there, you wrote scientific publications, and thereby you contributed your knowledge to the scientific community. And that makes you, the PhD students, really an integral part of the scientific progress. And that, I think, is also something very cool and awesome. And as Astrid has mentioned, Forschungszentrum is proud of you for that. I think your supervisors are also very proud of you for that. And you should also be very proud of yourself for your fantastic achievements during your PhD. And so I applaud and congratulate you for that and wish you a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much, Professor Lambrecht and Professor Steinrück, and thanks to Professor Diesmann as well. So we heard a bit about yes, the supervisors and their important role for you, for the doctoral researchers. They support the young scientists, as you know, in many different ways on the way to their PhD. And I'd like to welcome now one of the supervisors on stage. She's from the Institute of Bio and Geosciences, Division Plant Sciences, Professor Inga Janzig. Welcome.
So, thanks a lot, dear Board of Directors, dear graduates, dear colleagues, supervisors, friends, families. Today I have the honor to stand here on behalf of the supervisors to give a short greeting note. And I would like to start it with a short story. So imagine a house, and imagine in front of this house are sitting a biologist, a physicist, and a mathematician watching this house. And then 2 people go in, and 3 people come out. And the biologist says, oh, well, they have reproduced. And the physicist says, okay, it's a measurement error. And the mathematician says, okay, no, I lost the joke, sorry. Here it is. If 1 more person goes in now, the house is empty again. Yeah? And what you learn from that story is, all of them have seen the same scene, the same phenomenon. But everybody has seen something completely different. And that is the beauty of science, I would say. And this is an important, integral part. Everybody is seeing something different. And I think this is very important and was also very important in your journey doing your PhD. Because all of you looked on the scientific landscape. You have seen equations, samples, data, deadlines, and you found your own meaning in it. And some saw beauty in complexity, some saw patterns in noise, some saw chaos and decided to model it anyway. And sometimes you and your supervisors did not see the same. And when we as supervisors accompany somebody through this complete process of a PhD, you can really believe us, we really feel everything you feel. You feel the euphoria, having the first really excellent experiment. Feeling the despair after the 10th failed one. And also the familiar phase when a PhD, or I have to confess, even sometimes a supervisor thinks, well, to become a beekeeper might be a real career option for me. Yeah? And in that sense, this is really important, and what we can learn from that is that both PhDs and supervisors can learn from your PhD processes. And that is to appreciate these different ways of seeing, to really admire the passion and creativity between results, even if you don't understand them. Sometimes we might not agree also with an interpretation, either the PhD with the interpretation of the supervisor or vice versa, but even then, yeah, we should trust and appreciate each other's instincts, experience, and perspective. And this is really what I think, like in this mysterious house, a very important part. Science becomes richer when you really see all these different perspectives. And a doctorate, and this was already stated by Frau Lamprecht, is not only an academic milestone, it is a personal milestone. And it shows that you, as a PhD, as a graduate, immersed yourself in a topic, you take it apart, you put it back together again, and at the end, you not only found answers, I hope and I'm sure you were able to ask better questions. And that is ultimately, I would say, what science is all about. And you, dear PhDs, held on through that period. You kept going through the ups, the doubts, the long nights, and this perseverance in science, that is a real, true achievement for your personality. And we as supervisors, we held on too, so that means we guided, encouraged, occasionally panicked, and learned that coffee and moral support can go surprisingly long ways. And it wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. So my final wish for you is simple. Wherever you go, academia, industry, beyond, keep this scientific spirit alive. And let's celebrate now your perseverance, your curiosity, caffeine, and the collective refusal to become a beekeeper. Let's celebrate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Inga Jansik. I have to remember that joke from the beginning. It was really good. She is one of the many supervisors here in Jülich, and I'm sure they do all a great job in supporting the doctoral researchers. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up again. A big round of applause for all the supervisors in Jülich. Thank you. And now I'm looking forward to our next speech here on stage, which is a bit special because it is the famous, the unique, the one and only Festrede. That's how we call it in German. I looked it up a few times, also for the events here in recent years. It's a bit hard to translate, maybe something like official speech or celebratory speech. Well, anyway, I prefer the German version Festrede, and like every year, this Festrede is given by two members of the doc team, which is, as you know, the network for the doctoral researchers here in Jülich. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Lars Slotters and Cansu Gülbahar.
Good evening. Thanks for the kind introduction. Have you ever grown a bonsai tree by your own? It's a hobby of mine, but it takes a really long time. And there are many similarities to doing a PhD. Imagine a tiny bonsai seed, barely visible, almost inconspicuous. And yet, it contains everything that will grow one day. The shape, the direction, and even the character. They say that a bonsai is never completely finished. And perhaps that also applies to us. Because growing is not a noisy business. It takes time. It takes care, patience, and sometimes a wire. A plan B, C, D, and possible also E.
For many of us, the journey began in a similar way. From the first day of college, to sit in substrate, an environment full of nutrition, full of possibilities. We believed that in a few years, we would be magnificent trees, or at least have a well-planned resume.
Then came the master's degree, the first design interventions, specializations, focus. Branches were removed, sometimes with regret. Lectures that once inspired us has to make their way for our own focus.
And by the time we got to our master's thesis, it became clear. Growing isn't just beautiful, it's also painful. Some projects blossomed, others snapped in the first gust of the wind.
I still remember my bachelor's and master thesis. The one error in the program code, the thought, I'll just write it up, hand it in, because it's simply impossible to find it. I spent weeks to find it and couldn't. There was only little time left, and then suddenly the solution. But now lots of the parts of the evaluation had to be redone, and half of the thesis had to be rewritten.
We took these and similar traces with us. They have become creative elements, because those who manage to continue growing, despite wind damage, not only have substance, they also have character.
When I started my doctorate, I was sure, now I know how it works. I understand the system. I'm ready. And no bugs in the code like the describes will happen once again. You know all how it will go on.
Only to realize I wasn't standing on the mountain, but on a small hill. And the real summit was somewhere back there, hidden behind methodological uncertainty and an Excel spreadsheet with 247 empty cells.
What came next is familiar to many, the moment when you think, My results are worthless. Everyone else is making better progress. I'm not good enough.
The infamous PhD slumps, often at the end of the first year, beginning of the second. And then, writer's block, the blinking cursor, like a silent judge. You start revising the introduction before it's even finished.
But this is exactly when something happened. You grow. Not loudly, not suddenly, but quietly and deeply.
Along the way, it becomes clear that you can't move forward alone. Great solutions never arise from just one perspective.
On the contrary, sometimes it takes precise those other perspectives to free your own thoughts. And sometimes it takes the honest opinion of someone from a completely different field.
In this respect, the Forschungszentrum is a microcosm of the world. Here, the theorists meet experimentalists, programmers meet neuroscientists, and at the dog team's annual soccer tournament, suddenly everyone is on the same playing field. Whereas would you find a simulation expert playing striker while a biologist stands in a goal as if she's never done anything else? It's not just entertaining, it's diversity in action.
And then we learned what international cooperation means, how cultural diversity broadens our horizons and makes us question on our own socialization. Sometimes also how to conduct scientific discussions with our hands and feet and still understand what it's all about. And we adapt to the pace that prevails here and the enthusiasm of our colleagues. It wasn't always easy to keep up, but it was exactly what had helped us grow.
Because real growth happens when you trust each other, when you are allowed to correct each other, and sometimes even reinvent yourself.
What connects us all in these phases is curiosity. Not just curiosity about results, but curiosity about what we don't know yet, what lies behind the next question.
Tag der Neugier reminded us that science thrives on sharing, on listening, on explaining, and on someone taking the problems of tomorrow and the day after tomorrow seriously today.
This curiosity also drives progress, as in the inauguration of Jupiter, Europe's most powerful supercomputer. A monument of metal and data, but behind it, ideas, peoples, and visions.
And this is also part of the truth. We are not just scientists, we are also colleagues, friends, and part of a community.
We stopped at the rest station, at the See Casino for coffee and cold breaks, or in the kitchen, ranting about Review 2, or while desperately waiting for the bus 220, which only is going as far as Jülich North today.
These little moments are no less important than the big results, because without them, there will be no real big growth.
Today we stand here as doctoral students of the doc team, and yet we both are not finished. But we have learned to grow because we have learned that knowledge is not a goal, it's a journey. Hopefully in a few years sitting where you sit now, and glad to have doctorals in front of our names.
You have grown through setbacks, through doubts, through people who believed in you even when you didn't.
To return to the bonsai analogy, a bonsai tree is never finished, but it carries within everything that makes it strong. The storms, the cuts, the light.
Today we look back on years full of doubts, insights, encounters, and we look ahead, knowing that growth continues. Perhaps no longer here at the Forschungszentrum, but with everything we have learned here.
We, the doc team, wish everyone who's celebrating today their doctorate with their beloved ones, all the best.
Thanks very much, Lars Slotters and Cansu Gülbahar, for this Festrede. We had a lot of nice and appreciating words here on stage so far, but now the time has come for the most important part of tonight, for the ceremony itself. So, in addition to the doctoral degree you get, or you already got maybe from your university, you will receive today the Jülich certificates. And for that, we need the members of the boards here, please, on stage. So Professor Astrid Lambrecht, Professor Peter Janssens, Professor Laurenz Kuipers, and Dr. Stephanie Bauer. Please join me. We will present these certificates now in alphabetical order in 3 different groups, one after another. And important note for you all, when you will have received your certificates here, please stay on stage for a while, because we want to take a photo then afterwards of every group. On these screens on your left and on your right, you will see the respective names of the doctoral researchers, the title of their thesis and the related institute at Forschungszentrum. So, we can start with the first group. Here are the graduates. And we start with Haida Adel Ali. Franka auf der Heiden. Felix Bauer. Alicia Maria Benitez Britos. Bart Borkans. Jim Buffett. Shuyin Chen. Hasna Eraji. Alan George. Dominic Hoven. And the last graduate in this group is Mohammad Atif Javid. Thank you very much. Thank you to the first group of the doctoral researchers. We continue with a new song of our band. And with the next group. Where are they? Yes, please join us here from this side. So please give a big round of applause for Monika Teresa Maria Kessler. Mengshu Liu. Alexandros Milousis. Rebecca Molitor. Suher Nofal. Nrutiati. Anisha Reuban. And finally, Sebastian Rode. Thank you very much to the graduates of this group. And we continue with our third and last group of doctoral researchers for tonight. And this is Karina Ruzaeva. Congratulations. Jelena Stefanovic. Timon Vaz. Hetal Vaishnav. Naima Yakub. Hao Yin. Mahmoud Zir. Yufan Zhang. Chinwei Zhu. Thank you very much. Thanks again to all of the graduates, and thanks to the members of the board. You can take a seat again. So we are continuing now with some music. Our band is called Kreuzvier. They are from Cologne and from the region of Eifel, which is nearby, as you maybe know. We heard them in the background until now, but now we want to pay our full attention to the band. And you maybe already noticed that they're playing a lot of different international music today, and of course this fits in well with the international character of this event and with the doctoral researchers themselves. The next song, I think, is an Armenian one, and it's called Donne Yar.
Don digga don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Don digga don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Don digga don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Hellay don de yar, don digga don de yar. Hellay don de yar, don digga don de yar. Hellay don de yar, don digga don de yar. Hellay don de yar, don digga don de yar. Hellay don de yar. Merdan herif sahon sori, hellay don de yar. Zerdan herif sahon sori, hellay don de yar. Hon sori na chukolori, hellay don de yar. Avoruri chuhalvori, hellay don de yar. Don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Don digga don de yara, hellay don de yar. Don digga don de yara, hellay don
Kreuz 4. Thank you very much. All of the graduates, all of you have received your certificates tonight, but now we have another award, a special prize to present. The Jülicher Excellence Prize 2025. That's an award for, as the name says, excellent, for outstanding research for young scientists at Forschungszentrum. There's a jury of 8 different scientists led by Professor Lambrecht, and I heard it was pretty clear this time. It was pretty clear for the jury who deserves this special recognition, who will get the prize this time. They agreed that the winner of the Jülicher Excellence Prize 2025 is Dr. Anja Meyer. And before we see her and her lauditors here on stage, we will watch a short video which gives us a little impression of what she does.
My name is Anja Meyer. I work at Peter Grünberg Institute at Forschungszentrum Jülich. The title of my thesis was Advances in Photoemission Orbital Tomography. Photoemission orbital tomography is a combined experimental theoretical method where we study the electronic properties of molecules on metal surfaces. The technique is based on the photoelectric effect, where you have a sample which is illuminated with photons and electrons are released. The electrons we measure, and we measure their kinetic energy and their emission angle. We recalculate them, and then we get momentum maps. In the theoretical part of this method, we also get momentum maps, which are then fingerprints of individual orbitals. So when we compare the experimental and theoretical maps, we can identify individual orbitals of the molecule, and we can get their binding energies. So when I joined the project, it was evident that the technique works, but it was not yet clear to what we can apply the technique. So the focus of my thesis was to determine where the method succeeds and where it fails. At our institute, we do fundamental research to better understand the electronic structure of molecules on the molecular scale. You will not see our research in the next 1 or 2 years, but maybe in 20 or 30 years, you will see the knowledge that we have gained in new technologies, maybe even materials that have not existed before. Working as a scientist is fascinating because all of the methods that we apply, we can look at these very tiny things. We can look at molecules and electrons and vibrations on surfaces. So I never imagined that it's even possible to explore these kind of things. So I really like that we can push the boundaries of science and we learn a lot about the systems that we may need in the future. Receiving this award is a great honor. For me, it is both recognition as a scientist and motivation to push further the boundaries of science. I continue to work at Forschungszentrum Jülich in the same institute, so Peter Grünberg Institute. Scientifically, I stay as a postdoc, so I do science, but I do another project. So in this term, we use the same method that I used before, photoemission orbital tomography, but we add another parameter, time. So this is what we do in the orbital cinema project. In the other 50% of my time, I work as a scientific coordinator at this institute, supporting Professor Tautz in all administrative businesses. What I value most at Forschungszentrum Jülich is the international and supportive environment. We are encouraged to exchange ideas, to develop our science, and to grow both as scientists and as individuals.
Dr. Anja Meyer. Now I'd like to welcome 2 people on stage who can explain in detail to us why Anja Meyer and why her work is so extraordinary. Anja's doctoral supervisor, Professor Frank Stefan Tautz, director of Peter Grünberg Institute, and Dr. Sergei Subach, also Anja's supervisor and senior scientist at Peter Grünberg Institute.
Yeah, dear Astrid, dear members of the board, dear guests and colleagues, and most importantly, of course, dear graduates, it is a great honor to deliver a laudatory speech for this year's Jülich Excellence Prize recipient, Dr. Anja Meyer. You have seen her in the video. I had the pleasure of mentoring her during her PhD in the Quantum Nanoscience Department at Peter Grünberg Institute here in Jülich. In fact, I'm sharing the honor to speak today with Dr. Sergei Subach, Anja's supervisor on a day-to-day basis, who worked with her every day in the lab. And undoubtedly, he will offer some personal anecdotes from this time. Meanwhile, I will focus on the scientific aspects, which I hope will not be too dry. Anja joined our institute in 2017 from the University of Bonn for a master's degree at first. Afterwards, she started in 2019 as a PhD student, and in May 2024, she completed her dissertation, earning a distinction. 2019 to 2024, at first sight, nothing out of the ordinary. Or is it? Wasn't there something special about 2019? Do you still remember the pandemic? It already seems very distant now, but in December 2019, as you all know, COVID struck, and a few months later, public life had come to a halt. For Anja's PhD work, this was a serious challenge, because she was supposed to do experiments at synchrotrons around the world, in the UK, in Japan, in Berlin, as part of an international team. Well, from the fact that today we are celebrating here her Excellence Prize, it is clear that somehow she managed to overcome this additional challenge, and not just overcome it, she thrived. Sergei will share a few impressions from this difficult time. As you have heard in the video, Anja's project was aimed at developing photoemission orbital tomography into a surface chemical analysis tool. And as a chemist by training, she seemed predestined for this research, and indeed, she did not disappoint our expectations. On the contrary, she excelled. From the very first day, she showed a strong commitment to succeed. With her outstanding communication skills and exquisitely structured approach, she kept the project on track against all odds, proactively organizing meetings, sample exchanges, synchronous beam times, and the like in the face of this pandemic. I've never been able to rely on a PhD student in such matters quite to this degree. But also, on the other hand, and even more importantly, Anja's excellent knowledge and understanding, and most important, passion for chemistry, and in fact, and the fact that she very quickly mastered all the experimental and theoretical intricacies of photoemission orbital tomography, did the rest to make the project an outstanding success. Two of the many results of her PhD project stand out. First, she managed to extend orbital tomography to the imaging of sigma orbitals. This opened a much more direct way to study chemical bonding in molecules than the commonly used X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, for example, which only provides indirect information on local bonding by measuring the influence of these bonds on atomic core levels. With the new sigma-based orbital tomography she helped developing, one gains direct access to the bonding orbitals, and in future, I'm sure we will see many applications of this innovative spectroscopy. Secondly, Anja also showed that orbital tomography can provide important and unique information on the aromaticity of organic molecules. Aromaticity is a fundamental concept in chemistry used to explain the stabilization of cyclic molecules. It has been of special interest to chemists ever since the structure of benzene has been proposed by Kekulé in 1865 in Bonn, by the way. For so-called kekulene, which is sort of a meta-benzene molecule made of individual benzene molecules instead of carbon atoms, Anja was able to distinguish between two competing aromaticity models, the so-called class sextets and on the one hand and superaromatic rings on the other. And based on this work, one of the ideas in the orbital cinema project she's been talking about in the video is to trace how aromatic stabilization establishes itself on ultra-fast timescales once the necessary bonds in the molecule have been formed. This would take us really to the very limits of chemistry, and therefore I'm very happy that she has decided to remain part of this research beyond her PhD with all her talent, and therefore I'm also very optimistic that together we will succeed. Finally, before I hand over to Sergei, I would like to take the opportunity again to congratulate you, Anja, for your great achievement, and thank you also for the great time.
Thank you, Stefan. Well, good evening, everyone. It's, of course, a great pleasure for me to say a few words about Anja tonight. Also, a kind of the challenge, of course, trying to summarize her PhD journey into just few words and a few minutes speech. It's like taking a huge synchrotron facility and trying to stick it into your pocket or your suitcase. Apropos synchrotrons, you already heard that Anja's research was mainly dealing with synchrotrons, and this means actually like month of detailed preparation, then couple of weeks of very exhausting experiments during the night, operating equipment which is extremely complex, extremely expensive, sometimes really fragile. Therefore, considering candidates for such projects, to be true actually, we at first try really to scare them away. This is our very special way actually testing if candidates can do the job. And, because if coffee runs away during the night at the beam time, at the beam line, and then the only matter of survival is actually a good team spirit. I should say that Anja never was afraid, neither during her interview nor during our measurement. She managed to survive this kind of research. As you can see, not just survived, she was always helping others to survive, always bringing good mood and assisting people. Sometimes coming during the night to the beam line just to check on the night watch, I would find her sitting in front of control computer of the machine and actually singing at the same time to cheer up the other people, or at least to kind of keep them awake. Once I asked her about her plans after PhD, just a standard question you would ask, and she answered with a twinkle in her eye that, well, she just would like to be a grandma and cook for her grandkids. Well, I thought at first, well, very special way of scientific career. But very soon, not just me, but also other members of our family realized that she started kind of practicing on us. Taking care about everyone, supporting everyone with all her experience, patience, benevolence, and actually also from time to time bringing a cake out of nowhere, out of blue, and just saying, well, no reason. Yesterday I just had a good mood. I always must to say that indeed her PhD project was really challenged by the pandemic time. Once one of our experiments in Berlin actually happened during when all world shut down suddenly, and me and her, we found ourselves actually alone, sitting in a huge experimental hall of a synchrotron, last scientist standing there, really. And moreover, actually, the only human with whom we're still communicating, our local contact at the beamline, at some point he got bored during the weekend and decided to celebrate life, partying with his friends, and next day he tested positive and, informed us about that. It was a big surprise. We had to cancel experiment. We had to pack up everything in a couple of days and actually travel together through the entire country back home without even knowing that we are still okay because we were exposed as well. We're just next in the line, and that time we made kind of agreement that whatever happened on us during that time we just stick together. If some of us get sick, we just travel, we go home supporting each other. And I really have a hope that this agreement we had to stick together will last longer. I don't know, for sake of science we are doing together, for sake of our friendship, of course, while also for sake of occasional slice of a cake once in a while, why not? And I'm pretty much sure that you have all the needed potential to go far. Whatever, like top scientist, like very successful scientific manager or coordinator, both of that. I just would like to use this opportunity once again to congratulate you on this great achievement, nice award, and also actually thank you for showing all of us that good, successful science requires not only a bright mind, but also a big heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Taus and Dr. Stuba. Now we need also Professor Astrid Lambrecht and the other members of the board, please, on stage. And of course, we need the winner of the award. Here she is, Dr. Anja Meyer. Yeah, one more photo. Thank you very much. Dr. Anja Meyer, winner of the Jülicher Excellence Prize 2025. Thank you. And now I'm looking forward to a special guest and a special presentation. She is also a doctoral researcher here in Jülich, and she is a special talent, you can say, because she's an award-winning talent. She won the Klartext Prize this year. That's an award for scientific communication, I think, if I understood it correctly. It's about explaining your science to people who have actually no idea about what you do in your lab or at your desk all the time. And to be honest, most people don't, I guess. And in her presentation today, she will tell us about her personal journey to her PhD. Please welcome Rebecca Molitor.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction, and hello everybody, and a special congratulations to all of the doctoral researchers for finishing your PhD and having finished this amazing journey. I'm quite sure you all had some ups and downs, and I think your journey was not really as you planned in the beginning. I expect, at least for me, it didn't turn out as I expected it in the beginning. I think you all also had some watery pits and also some fiery mountains that you had to climb. But since you're all here right now, I'm quite sure you all made it and you all managed to successfully come out of that. And today I want to tell you about my bumpy journey, and it includes this nice little ship, but I'm going to come to that later. So first of all, my PhD topic was about the plastic problem we have and how to get rid of the plastic. And my work includes bacteria and enzymes that are produced by bacteria. And I want to use those to get rid of the plastic garbage, if it's all going to be perfect. So what I first thought about was where do I get those new bacteria and enzymes from? So I was looking at like where is most of the plastic garbage, and most of the plastic garbage nowadays is in the oceans. Here you can see a map with the amount of plastic particles per square kilometers in the ocean. The more red it gets, the more plastic particles are there. And as you can see, there are certain areas in the oceans. They are called ocean gyres, where the plastic is accumulating, and in there it's just gathering. And I was looking at especially this one, because in the end of 2020, a research cruise went there, actually sampling plastic there. And I was lucky enough that I was able to also go on there, which I didn't expect in the beginning. So that's what I did. I went on this cruise. There you can see the sampling points that we had, some outside of the garbage patch, some inside of the garbage patch. But we were quite in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. And I guess you all kind of think, like you all have a picture in your head when you're thinking about like, what does the garbage patch actually look like? I think you all think it's like a gigantic island and you can kind of walk on it. Like anyone here thinking that it's like that? Oh. Okay, because I also thought it's like that, but if anyone else didn't think it, I thought it looks like this, but when I was on there, I was a little bit disappointed maybe, because it actually looked like this. This is us taking samples of the ocean surface right in the middle of the North Atlantic garbage patch, but as you can see, there's not a lot to see. But if you look at what this net is actually sampling, which you can see here, you see a lot of things that you also didn't see before. Most of the things, like those little balls, are algae, and the blue things that you see in there is like some type of jellyfish. But what you can also see, especially up there, these like little amorphous, more triangular shapes, that's the plastic that is there. That's the plastic particles that are there, and there's millions of plastic particles per square kilometer there. But you don't really see it. But how come you don't really see it, and how come it's so small? So the plastic bottle that ends up in the ocean eventually is not really in a vacuum. It's like smashed by the waves. It's like hit by the UV rays. It's hit by the salt, and it just eventually falls into small pieces. And there you can see some of the pieces that I have found in these samples from the surface trawl. And you can see there's a wide distribution of sizes, but most of them are really small. And how come we don't really see those fragments on the ocean? I wanted to show you on this little bottle here. You can kind of see it's the ocean, and if I shake it and if I just pretend to be a wave, you can see that it's like going in the bottom, like it's mixing, it's going into the water column, and depending on the plastic type, it will also eventually fall onto the ocean floor and into the sediment. And that's where I had a special thought, like the ocean sediment is not an empty room, there's a lot of bacteria there, and that's what I'm searching for. So I thought maybe that's like a great area, because they're also searching for new food sources, and maybe plastic is a nice new food source for them. So I actually, went on the ocean to actually sample that with a so-called box corer, which is just a big box that's hitting itself into the ocean floor, and then like having a shoveling up a big chunk of ocean floor. And here you can see a top-up of the ocean floor, and actually me taking the sediment samples. And in these sediment samples, when I then took them back to the lab, I took out all of the bacteria and let them grow on certain media that also had plastic in there. And what I could see is that they actually could degrade the plastic. So I searched for the specific enzymes, and if you don't know enzymes, they're little helpers that can make chemical reactions go faster. For example, the reaction of degrading plastic. And I also isolated them. And if you have ever wanted to see an enzyme, here are enzymes in their whole beauty, some of my enzymes that I also actually found. And I tested them for how good they can degrade plastic, and they could actually very well degrade plastic already. But then I also looked at the structure and wanted to make them a little bit better, because the industry always launches for something that is better. So I looked even closer up there, and what you can see there as these little numbers is the so-called active site, which you can also kind of see as the mouth of the enzyme, like the little Pac-Man mouth eating away at the plastic chain, as you can see there. And right next to it is an amino acid that if I exchange that one for a different one, it actually made the mouth bigger, and you can see it's like a big plastic chain. It could just easier eat it away. And this is, in general, a very specific plastic and very helpful plastic because it's a dispersion, so it's kind of liquid, so it could help us to see the degradation better. And that's also when the Technical Museum Vienna came to us, because they wanted to make an exhibition about how plastic degradation is working. They wanted to do an exhibition on recycling that you can actually see right now in Vienna if you are there in the Technical Museum. And they wanted to have something visual for us. So I sat down with my sister, who's a photographer, to take videos of my enzymes and also the bacteria breaking away the plastic, which you can see here on the left. You can see the enzymes on the very, very left without enzyme, and to the right of that with enzyme, and you can see the clearing of this liquid plastic. The enzyme is eating away the chains, and on the very right you can see an agar plate where a bacterial colony is growing in the middle, and as it is growing it is secreting these enzymes, and the enzymes are also eating away the milkiness of the plate, which is actually this impregnal plastic. Very fascinating, I think, especially since the enzyme solution is going to almost clear completely, which is, a very great success. So in the end, I could say my journey was, even though it was a little bit shaky on the boat, especially with a lot of seasickness, it was kind of successful. And I would like to thank all of the people that helped me on my journey and that I met on my journey, and also you for your attention. And if you want to share your journey with me, feel free to talk to me later during dinner.
Thank you very much, Rebecca Molitor. Thanks. And that's it. That was the JuDocs Ceremony 2025. I want to say a thank you again to all of you, to the doctoral researchers, of course, to the doc team, the members of the board, the supervisors, Inga Jansik, Hans-Georg Steinrück, Anja Meyer, Rebecca Molitor, to our band, Kreuz 4 from Cologne, and everyone else in the audience. Thank you very much. I have a few short recommendations at the end for you. You can get more information, if you want, about all the doctoral researchers and their work on 2 screens we have set up. One is over there in the corner to your left, and one is around the corner here. And there we have kind of digital profiles of the doctoral researchers and their work. So if you want, take a look around there. And also very important for a photographer here, we have to make one more photo here on stage with all the people who have been on stage tonight. So I would like to ask all of the graduates, the supervisors, the members of the boards, etc., back on stage once again. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Dos gardenias para ti, con ellas quiero decir, te quiero, te adoro, mi vida. Ponle toda tu atención, que será tu corazón y el mío. Dos gardenias para ti, que tendrán todo el calor de un beso, de esos besos que te di y que jamás te encontrarán en el calor de otro querer. A tu lado vivirán y se hablarán como cuando estás conmigo, y hasta creerán que tú dirás te quiero. Pero si un atardecer las gardenias de mi amor se mueren, es porque han adivinado que tu amor me ha traicionado porque existe otro querer. A tu lado vivirán y se hablarán como cuando estás conmigo y hasta creerán que tú dirán te quiero. Pero si un atardecer las gardenias de mi amor se mueren, es porque han adivinado que tu amor me ha traicionado porque existe otro querer. Es porque han adivinado que tu amor me ha traicionado porque existe otro querer.